Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing look at Black Ice for Hearts of Iron 4, a mod that has very significantly modded Hearts of Iron, and in some ways it's doing a great job, in some ways not so much. So we're looking at it, we're examining it. That's what we're doing for this playthrough, mostly the economy, which are, to me, the big significant changes. I do want to thank Tim, Strongarm, Niagro, Timothy, Sir Toyjet, Gary, Garrett, Marcus, Folk, and of course the great Hoffmanator for support over on Patreon. But everybody, what I just really ask you to do is hit the like button, lick it if you like, and subscribe if you're new. And it also really helps the algorithm if you post a comment, so you can just say hi or something like that. That would be very helpful if you could do that. Thank you. Okay. Getting these guys set up here. I know we're looking at just hours, but as the clock goes on. There we go, standing by. So all of these guys. One very understrength fighter group, another. We're going to come down here. I'm going to look at these guys here. Eastern Mediterranean, they're going after aircraft, and these guys are going after aircraft. Okay, so. Sure plunk, okay. This will help with our manpower. That we don't take as many losses. Okay, we have been embargoed by the Union, so. We don't have the German social agreements, but this should not be happening, people. Not that we were doing any trading necessarily with them, I don't know, but I mean, how hard is it to do something historical? Yeah, I know it's after a certain date and you're going, oh, well, historically, Gamer, they'd already gone to war. Yeah, but we haven't. So why would the Soviets do this? It doesn't make sense. It really, really doesn't. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, let's go over to this one. Kick in another 5 minutes. We need more. I mean, if their setup is so fragile, I don't know.
Ausrücken! Angetreten! Achtung! Ausrücken! 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 Befehle! Ausrücken! 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 Angetreten! Ausrücken!
I don't know, people.
Angetreten!
What should I expect?
Ausrücken!
What should I expect?
Bereit! Achtung! Achtung! Ausrücken!
Okay.
Angetreten!
Handle the additional troops.
Bereit! Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Bereit!
Some of the ones that are a little further away, I'm putting on trains and moving that way.
Ausrücken!
And we have one more division that we'll send to here. And that.
Achtung! Bereit!
What's his skill up? Where it is. See his stats. Yeah, I guess that's all right.
Achtung! Bereit! Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
There we go.
Bereit!
His force, so we will move that up to here.
Ausrücken!
Okay.
Achtung! Bereit! Bereit! Ausrücken! Bereit! Angetreten! Angetreten! Ausrücken! 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 Angetreten!
I'll come up that way. That is good. Now, yeah, I do know we're not going in soon. Okay. Have we made it down here yet? No, he's still on the... still on the move, but we're going to give him to Rommel. 7th Panzer Division. Wow. Okay, well. New command. Von Manstein is going to get this because we took Von Manstein's command away from him to give it to Rommel. He's going to come under him. Okay, so let's select all. Go like that. Deutschland. Let's give that to Guderian. Where's Guderian's division? There. Okay, yeah, we're gonna move.
Angetreten.
Select all. We're gonna move you up to here. All right. Well, okay, we have the 8th Panzer Division. What does that look like? Fair. Create another force here. Weppenberg sounds like a good one.
Ausrücken.
Send him off there. There we go. Area Authority, Peru, whatever. I think we're calling up. I don't see, and maybe somebody, yeah, there's some factories, but the amount of garrison equipment I'm going to need to put into it, I don't see a good reason right now to go to war with Norway. Please explain to me one if you can. Other than history. But yeah, that's a reason. Whether that's a good reason or not. Okay, we can build. Okay. Well, I guess we're getting ready to lose too much food, so we're just going to continue to get some more farms. Because we need more resources. What more resources do we need? I don't see that. Because we're all green up here, except for maybe food. Okay, well. Okay, we'll buy some from Vichy, France. Okay, these guys are on standby, so they're going to come up here and they're going to go after fighters. These guys are going to put up. Maybe put them. Yes. Guys are going to come over here and go after fighters, and these guys are going to. Where? Okay. They're supplying to there. Again, we're going to save this. What do casualties look like? Okay. Yeah, we'll do that in just a moment. We're at war. Okay, so we've had 300,000, well, 346,000. Kingdom of Italy have had 1,000,000.3. We can see Belgium, Netherlands, 200,000 for Poland, Yugoslavia, United Kingdom, 900,000, 60,000 for Canada. Seems awfully high for Canada. 45,000 for South Africa. I don't think they had 45,000 troops in World War II. But yeah, okay, that's. Let's look at Rommel's forces. Basic artillery factories. Well, let's attack. We're going to keep zoomed out to hopefully not crash. Ah. Okay, well, I forget what. Oh, it was artillery, I think we just had. Military production 2, base stability, factory output. The one we want to do the most. Well, we could come up here. Division attrition, civilian factory. Recruitable population up point or 0.1 of a percent. 92 days. This would be the same once we got that. Don't know if it's worth it. I just don't know if it's worth it. Not saying it's not worth it, just don't know. We're having interesting food conditions. Okay, we're researching that. Management, 41. Antibiotics, monthly population, 7% for 115 days. That sounds like a good one. I crash. Don't want to crash. There we go. And we crashed. Oh. Restarting. At least we saved not so long before. Okay, we're going to wait till we get the 7th Panzer Division down there. We're going to be very careful with that. How long can Gamer play until it crashes? Okay, well, we're not yet attacking, so we're not going to attack. I do want to see, okay, organization levels. Right. Yeah, we're going to keep supplying down there. You come to here. So you're only in this C zone. They lost a convoy. 6 convoys. So hopefully there's not a big... I see a battle over there with Italian battleship. Hopefully we can get across the ocean without losses. What? Oh. Doing... BC France, right. That looks like we're now improving our food. Factories here, we decided to come and do antibiotics. Oh, Aluminum. Well, now we're here. Oh, you need to go join Rommel's group.
Ausrücken!
Now, well, that went down. That's going back up. So I don't know why it went down and just back up. I don't know. Could you turn off the third icons you get until you get to 3D icons turn off. Can we use NATO symbols? No, it can be done, but can it be done in the middle of the... Use NATO symbols, pause notifications. Can it be done in the middle of the game, or... Do you know how to turn it off from Wayne Rumble, or somebody can like quickly post it there so I don't have to figure it out? Because I'm just not, it's something that I just haven't looked at. So I know it can be done. I vaguely remember doing it as an experiment a long time ago, but I don't really remember. One of those things you normally don't need to touch too much. New fighters, just what we need. It isn't a bad idea. Let's do better heavy fighters. And yes, new fighters. Yeah, I think we will take to it now. Where are we? Here we are. We don't have enough fighter production capacity. Okay. That's why we're getting this. Okay. We want fighters to have the highest priority. What aircraft do we want to have the lowest priority? Transports. Yeah. Well, Condors are helping us control the sea, so I don't know. Yeah. Hit. Very nice. I know so little about farming. I don't know if that was something that was new in the 1930s or something that was common, but will industrial farm construction speed up 10%? Well, that's nice to go faster. Oil storage, okay. Liquefaction, synthetic fuel, need fuel, yeah, energy need. Yeah, we'll do that. Well, Do we do a construction? We're doing the underground factories, so that's sort of early. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, we're doing this here, which will get us 8 more military factories, which is what sort of pushed me for that. Aircraft, expand aircraft. Okay, aircraft assembly plants. That would get us 42 days. It will get us 12 aircraft assembly plants. Not that that would be enough, but it might be enough. So we're going to do that next. Okay, save button, game options, third unit. Okay, then apply. Yeah. Game options. Last notification, cooperation. Back. Disability, is this what you mean? I don't. Video, no, borderless high. Ah, okay, 3D units. There we are. And then apply. Okay, well, that may help it. Okay, thank you. When we get ready for the offensive, we will see about doing that. Okay, and it looks like we are not yet ready yet. They're coming up. Oh, it did. We've got rid of the 3D units. No big tall guy standing around. Recon company, very nice. Okay. Yeah, hi Raga. Well, I don't know. Hi Raga. Yeah, what we've been having a problem of the game crashing. So, having 3D units or not having 3D units for liking things is not the issue. It's will game crash, won't game crash, is what we're trying to solve. Or was this just a general sort of like statement? I like ice cream. Could have been something like that, I guess. We're going to move him to here so that we get Rappenberg to there. Well, we're having some in North Africa, and I'm not sure at all why. Okay, SS Cavalry Brigade. What does this look like now? It's equipment. Motorcycles. Okay. Yeah, we'll give him to Schwappenberg, so he has a little more force there. Oh. What do we still have down here? Okay, we have Ritter von Thoma's Fit, which is 2 motorized and 2 infantry that are very elite or somewhat elite or whatever. So, okay, you did. Interesting. For me, it immediately turned it off. Okay, no more aircraft because we are running out of aircraft factory capabilities. What else do we build? More medium panzers, I think. That's the panzer types as it is. Okay, what are we building here? I want to see. Because sometimes we're making A's. Oh no. We should have been. See, I need to pay closer attention to some of the stuff. I'm sort of waiting for the big. Oh no, I didn't do that right. Let's close this. Waiting for the big obsolete sign. This thing coming over it. But the way they've organized their game or their thing, I guess it didn't. So we've been producing Panzer A's way too long. F's, I think we got that fairly well up. Panzer 4 F's, yes. Those are sort of the correct ones. Do we have something that we should be enabling? I think it might be the term. Clicking on it be another term. Okay, those are good. Okay, so we've been producing bad panzers for quite some time. Well, produce wasps. I think I'm going to turn these Panzer 1s also into J's. That's going to hit those over there. They're going to switch over to J's as well. So we have 2 lines of J's. Oh, we need more, because now we have a high velocity gun. We need more tungsten. Oh, goody. Tungsten. Yes, let's pick this up from Sweden. There we go. Okay, we are here. Okay, I'm going to save. We're going to do another attack down in North Africa. Now, for a while, we weren't getting that crash. It was just happening over here, but some of the other battles... Oh, you were... Okay. Okay, you come up to the... These guys are hovering at that rate. So what we're going to do is get all of these guys. We're going to attack here. Which will force... Because I'm pretty sure this has infrastructure here enough that we can go there. Yes, they're counterattacking, but we are bringing in reinforcements. Okay, now. Still sort of hanging off here. Yeah, that might be the smart thing for them to do, but the Italians are pushing there. Looks like basic fighter factories. Very good. Okay, good. That's helpful. That was this one. looking to see if there's reinforce. Okay. Thought there was something I wanted to do. I don't know. But let's go back here. I think we'll do this. Well, we can build more submarines. All right. Let's actually build more transports. We have here, was there convoys? Logistics, heavy trucks, trains, stockpile. So we don't have a lot of extra trains. So, and we're gonna be pushing further into east. So let's do that. Don't want to do more. So we've got a lot of, and we're actually building up food. So we got a lot of food coming. So I don't think we want to do more food. We're going to do an event that'll give us more aircraft assembly plants, but I think we could still do another aircraft assembly plant. And we could also do another engine factory, I think, to deal with possible. You activated trucks at City Barani. No, I have not, and that may be something I should have done. You're absolutely right. Okay. That is what I should have done. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Wayne. Okay, these guys are being pushed back. They're coming forward. Let's move it. Motorized division there. These two divisions move up as well. Oh, hell. Have they done that? Yeah, I do see sort of a ghost image there. Okay, we've got to push everything back to there. The Italians are going to have a problem. Okay, underground factories. Nice, that'll give us a bunch more, but we're going to expand aircraft factories. We also put, did we, okay, we want to do this down here. Get some radar down. Looking in the Mediterranean to help us out there. Enough that it will keep producing through. Okay. Oh, well, now, for whatever reason, we've got, oh, well, I don't know what, don't know why we just got more aircraft factories, because we just started doing that national focus. More, oh, how did we get, oh, we got a bunch more. That's right. With that one event. And since we have one more rubber, okay, no, this doesn't use, for some reason this doesn't use rubber. Okay, yeah, I see that. There we go. Yeah, we are doing a bit better than historical Rommel, but we've not gone into the Soviet Union yet, so that does sort of counterbalance things out a little bit.
Achtung! Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
And for recruiting and deploying, those other 3 divisions will be coming soon.
Befehle?
Looks like the Italians, no, did not hold. The Italians did not hold. Well, there goes Rommel. Bye, Rommel. I'm going back to a save. I'm not going to keep playing this. I'm not going to keep playing this. Oh, but gamer, see if you can fight your way out. Yeah. Either game over and I quit because, yeah, or I go back to a save. Oh, man. The Italians, yeah. Oh, goody. I think this is before I push too deep in here. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Right. Well, we're going to attack with those 3 divisions and this division down here. Oh, and we are also going to come over to supply, and we're going to truck supply here, which we should have been doing from the beginning. Yep. Okay. Well, now, which division? Yes, the 7th will move forward, and the light division, and we'll also move the 10th up to here. Oh, the British have. Oh, we still have Diedel's forces down here. Well, they're getting our force unencrypted. Whatever. No, 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 no. I don't want you to go there. I wanted you to join that force's command there. Okay. Since we're making the decision not to go into the north, we're going to send off these forces. Where are they? There. Okay, well, underground factories again, right? Ah, radar. Um, aircraft. Another engine factory. What did we do last time? We are producing J's. Good. That. We need more aluminum. Yeah, yeah. And I think we decided to do just another line for that. Well,
Angetreten.
let's see here. Combined arms, fast runner, no.
Angetreten.
No,
Bereit.
not so much. Rommel.
Angetreten.
Let's see what we could give him as a commander. Combined arms, trickster, improved. Do that too. Okay, Rommel is improved as a commander.
Bereit.
Very good. Now they're attacking up here, so we're going to join their attack. We're doing better with supplies. We're also going to... No. Just support that attack there. Basic fighter factories. Now, oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why we got more. Fighter factories there. Okay. I think we went and did this last time. I'm going to save this just in case. Whatever, whether I fuck up and trust the Italians too much or...
Bereit. Angetreten.
Why doesn't he have any more? Oh, well, why weren't those divisions involved in this? I don't know. They're getting pushed back. They're holding there. Okay, underground factories this time. And now we're going to go to or expand the aircraft. Back up to here. Let's see, I don't know. Just sort of kind of trying to do some cool things like, well, I don't know if we need those half tracks. I think we could use some more of these, some of these. Brains. but also because we're using them. Some heavy transport trucks. There we go. And we could use we go. Hello, Starstreak. How you doing? Can't remember models, Star Wars figures, books, other crap. Back. Oh, you're back down in Blenheim. Bought it. Oh, cool. Reading up here. Brought my car over on the ferry to pick up boxes I left 23 years ago. Cool. Cool. Good you got a car and you guess you got a place, I hope. Cool, cool, cool. Starstreak, I hope things are going well for you. I really am. Hoping yeah, they are. Okay, well, hopefully we're not going to crash. Hopefully with this now as trucks. Now I could go to like super trucks, but well, let's do that. Let's do that. I think we can just push in to make sure that we are supplied up as much as possible here. And we're going to get pushed back here, but I don't think we're going to get Rommel cut off. We're going to get these guys up to full strength and maybe push straight out of City Barani. We get a nice suburb. Well, good. I guess they may still have those in New Zealand. They still have them here in lots of places, but watching some stuff in Britain and how bad it's getting in their direction of their going. Just about ready to launch into some rant, but I probably keep from doing that. Okay. Yeah, Stugs sound cool. We're building up food now. Okay, well, this is an interesting development. Japan just declared war on everybody on December 8th, which is when Japan declared war. Why do we say December 7th? The date line, because it was 7th, December 7th in Hawaii, and because Hawaii is on this side of the date line, and the rest of the United States. It was December 8th in Japan, and I think maybe already the 8th in Europe. So yes, that triggered on the historical date. Looks like they've triggered some invasions. Now, I would say that this completely matches what would be logical historical behavior. I was complaining about earlier today, had a bit of a glitch on the Soviet Union embargoing Germany. I know it was in like October here or whatever, but in 41, that's, but we're continuing the German-Soviet peace, which I would say Soviet Union would not be embargoing Germany or anything like that. China here, or Japan with China, or in China here, we have the situation where Japan just cannot win against China. I would say they're probably doing better than historical, but I'm not absolutely sure of how you want to measure that metric. And I've often said this, Japan expects a short war. I think to a point, people, maybe help me out here. Yes, the mighty Japanese octopus spreading its tentacles. Absolutely starstreak. Help me out here. You're in a war with China. You've deployed a lot of your forces. Not all of your forces, obviously, because, hey, they were able to invade the Philippines, invade Malaya in divisional scale fighting very rapidly. They were able to push into Burma very rapidly. Now, they very well I know for the invasion of the Philippines, because I've actually looked into this 6 months or more ago, but a lot of the divisions came from Taiwan, and it was very interesting looking at this that, and, right now, Taiwan / Formosa, whatever you want to call this, a lot of the troops were Taiwanese, okay? And I would call it, from looking at the stuff, which are, they're speaking Chinese to some degree. Because the language of down here, but seems to be more integrated than Korea. Though, of course, we know of the one famous Korean guy who is drafted into the into the Japanese army, is captured up in Khalkhingal by the Soviets, spends some time in a Soviet, gulag, and then gets transferred as part of a, whether he volunteers or whatever, forced to fight the Germans. The Germans capture him. He then joins up with the Germans, and then the British capture him after D-Day. So, now that's sort of a remarkable one-off or very, very few off that has that colorful of a history. But including officers, it seems to be. So it seems to be down here in Taiwan at this time, I'm going to call them second-class citizens. They're not Japanese. Now, if you want to go that there's classes within Japan, well, very well may be. Obviously, there are classes. No, they're very significant social classes. But those may be more social classes than classes of citizenship, if you know what I mean. But maybe, because I think all males, they didn't vote, women didn't vote. But I think for when they were voting for elections, I think all males voted. But maybe there was property or other sort of things. We're not talking to, obviously there are elites, but I would call them second-class citizens in that they seem to have had a fair amount of citizenship rights, and not just boot on your neck, occupied peoples, And so a lot of these divisions coming into the Philippines actually were significantly, maybe even majority, Taiwanese divisions. The ones coming from Taiwan. They also brought some divisions from other places, but they brought a bunch here. So a lot of the reserves, or a lot of units that hadn't, not reserves as in like necessary part-time or whatever, but a lot of the units that were held in reserve were brought out for this invasion, as well as some units that had been fighting in China and were in rather bad shape and then had been withdrawn and re-equipped, So veteran forces that we're sort of in the rear area to get, new equipment and replacements and that kind of thing that were sent down into Malaya and the Philippines and down into Dutch East Indies. The forces that really show up down here, some of them are, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but are actually a little bit later staged in that they are, forces from the battles in the Philippines sent down for further operations down into the Solomons and whatnot. Because you've got to remember we already see, okay, these are still in, but we see here, state owner, isn't this, like, there's a Japanese unit here, I think, and a Japanese unit here. Yeah. Down here in Guadalcanal, that's a fight with the Americans. That's in 42, and fairly later in 42. Like I'm thinking spring. I'm not good on the date, and they were doing some. So this is a little bit jumping fast, I think, but definitely up here. So help me out. You've got a war in China that that you have. Let's even say 20 more divisions sitting around that are useful divisions. Not fortification divisions or factory workers that are trained, go on the weekends and play soldier to like reserve forces that, hey, if you're invaded or something, or civil disorders or something, you can call out the troops temporarily, but they've got important day jobs, working, well, maybe being a farmer, maybe being a munitions worker or whatever. They got important day jobs, but they're sort of reserve forces. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about guys that are full-time military soldiers and full-time military units that just aren't up at the front. And the very realization that throwing in 20 more divisions in China overall isn't going to bring about a quick victory. And I think that's very much their estimation. And they're looking at it that there's two major resources that they just can't keep up with. One is steel, and the other is oil. And you're being choked off from buying them in other places, particularly, both of these things. Now, I'm sure there's also some other critical components that they're being choked off of, but those are the two big scale situations. And so their operations, whether it's trucks driving around or aircraft flying around or whatever, more oil is needed for that. And steel, whether for machine guns or for bombs or for ships or for whatever, railway engines. That if you continue this way, you see your stockpiles dwindle. So the 20 divisions, now 20 divisions on the front line, maybe over 3 years, fighting this battle, that battle, destroying these, making progress might be useful, but over those 3 years, you're out of oil and you're out of steel. So you see this as an unwinnable solution against China. Now, I don't know how much necessarily the steel situation would be changed. Definitely a oil situation, immediate change, because you have basically in Borneo, some along here, some up over here, you have significant amounts of oil. Enough oil to keep Japan running. There's also fairly large amounts of oil up here in Burma that they can get to. So almost immediately, yeah, there are certain levels of sabotage, but even the Burmese oil is mostly all put back into use after, a few months. And basically all of the Dutch and British oil is put back, there's repairs done and it's flowing Maybe not 100% of what it was before, but pretty damn good. So enough to keep Japan operating. The only reason Japan really has problems as the war goes on with oil is a lack of tankers and submarines sinking, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying they have an overabundance. I'm saying enough to the point that the oil coming out of Balikpapan is really sort of light sweet crude oil, meaning there's not a lot of contaminants in it. And the big Japanese ships, the big ones, are steam driven. So meaning that you use oil, you burn oil to make heat, and then you turn turbine, not old, railway chug, 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 but turbine steam engines. So you can burn the oil straight out of the ground. And it works reasonably well. All it is, it's dirtier than what you would refine it normally out for fuel oil for ships. So that you have to clean your engines out to the, then that in the sense that you have to shut down the boilers, because, it's in the, the firebox part. Shut all that down and, obviously let it get cool and send people into, these are big things, into, scrape and clean that off and ungunk it once in a while. It probably varies from, difference on destroyers versus, carriers, how often you have to do it, but you have to do it at some point. So Japan moves at one stage, probably 43, 44, something, while the Philippines have yet been taken. They move the bulk of the fleet away from Truk, where the Truk is out here. It's Yap. Truk is one of these. Strongarm probably knows, but I think it's out. One of these. Yeah, here, Truk. Move it away from Truk, because this sort of had been their sort of big naval base. It's sort of a nice natural harbor and whatnot. And as you can see from these islands, it's a, good reaction. You want to come down and support the Solomons. You want to support an attack on Hawaii. You want to cut off the supply links from the U.S./Hawaii to the, Philippines and New Zealand. You're all sort of good strategic here. But you've got to either bring the oil from Balikpapan and dirty, or you've got to get it refined somewhere else and bring it there. So they moved the fleet, a good bulk of the fleet, for a while, because there's the source of oil and you don't have to transport it anywhere to keep it going. And that way, there are limited amount of ships, because you can, though it's not very efficient, to put oil into 50-gallon drums and put them on a cargo ship and move the cargo ship, but it's most efficient, obviously, in a tanker. And so, and they're losing the tankers, and they're losing the tankers particularly out here more so than here earlier. So having the fleet back here is keeping it supplied. So they the big problem for Japan and its oil is the transportation of it. Now, to get the Japanese Navy to agree to go to war with the U.S., because Japanese government is hugely fractured, meaning even to a point, because we can see some sort of various rebellions at a time, even to a point, an order from the emperor might not get the Navy to do something. The Navy is sort of operating as its own independent thing. Coming up in 41, you have the guy who's in charge of the Kempitai. The Kempitai is sort of the military police. The guy in charge of the Kempitai up in Manchukuo and Korea and this kind of area takes over the Japanese government. Tojo. He was the head policeman for the military up in this region. He becomes the Prime Minister of Japan, And he maintains also, I think it's 3 different ministries that he's officially in charge of, but he has, puppet guys sort of running it, but he's the head of the ministry. So, one of them being the military, or the army. So the Navy's so independent that they bribe the Navy with increased steel allotments to continue the naval building program, because there's just not enough steel. Now, I contend, well, that U.S. basically forced Japan into the war, and this is sort of what we're talking about. I contend that Japan thought, because of its experience with Russia, thought it could have a short war, and if victorious, I really think they would have retreated out of places like the Philippines, not Borneo, maybe out of places like Singapore, but I think they would have required opening up trade for steel as well, because I don't see any of their attacks down here doing, and we can look at, where's resources here? Get the resource map here. Okay, some tungsten is down here. Okay, yeah, there's some steel. I'm not saying there aren't iron mines, because iron is part of the issue. A lot of tungsten. Now, tungsten can just mean sort of rare stuff, but yeah, not a lot. I didn't expect to find much down in this part of the world. Aluminum, or alumina. They've got to turn it into aluminum. But yeah, it should be bauxite here, so I don't know. You're going to get much more steel up here. So this isn't so much a power grab down here directly for. Okay, well, what is that? Is that iron? Okay, so there's some iron down here. Yeah, okay, there's some iron down here too. Okay, maybe a bit more than I'm thinking, but still, my point still holds that they want to get down here to fight in this war. Now, as Rhaegar says, U.S. forces Japan into the war. Why? Why? Why can't you make the rational decision that the war is unwinnable against China? Because I would contend that not being choked for steel and oil, if they had a reasonable amount of it, I'm not saying endless amounts, but a reasonable amount of it, because again, Japanese industry is only so strong. It's not just a steel limitation. And yes, you can, with more steel, build more industry, but Japan just does not have the population to occupy China. It just doesn't have it. And can you not rationalize, go, okay, and Japan tries and wants to negotiate a peace with China. They just sort of kind of want, when they start the bridge incident up here, they just want a chunk of northern China, maybe down to this peninsula, some sort of chunk of China, and then have another peace, and then spend 10, 20 years integrating it, and then probably take another bite of China. That's what they want to have happen at the start of or at least and it started by the guys up in Manchuria, not the guys back in Tokyo. Tokyo did not say, oh, we want to go to war with China. It's the guys out here. Remember, it's the head of the secret police from here that takes over the Japanese government. It's actually, because there's sort of 2 Japanese armies running at the same time. There's the army in Japan, and there's the Japanese army occupying sort of Korea and Manchukuo. And it's the Manchukuo, and particularly that pushes for going into China locally. But eventually they end up taking over all of the Japanese army apparatus. So, but can't the nation, and it could just be, yeah, these guys back here know that this is unwinnable, but they don't have control over these people. It could just be that it's too fractured of a government, and that may be the solution. But, maybe it just comes down to, if you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Hello, Jamuska, how you doing? U.S. basically for it's interesting how much Russo-Japanese war matched what they hoped would happen to the U.S. versus Port Arthur, Pearl Harbor. Absolutely, ZZ. One U.S. attaché said Japan didn't plan the bridge incident, and Japan was caught unprepared. The letter took 30 days to arrive in the U.S. Yes. Tokyo. Yeah, I am firmly of the belief that the Army, the political government, and the Navy back in Japan did not know that forget the bridge name, but that the Marco Polo, that's it, the Marco Polo bridge incident, that it was not planned by them, but it was planned as a problem. Yeah, Marco. Yeah, it was planned by the. It wasn't just an accident that happened. That you can maybe apologize. No, it was planned by the guys here. They wanted a reason to go in, and they went in, and then, at first they were doing pretty damn well. It wasn't that there's an incident and then they got their butts kicked and then, no, they went in and did pretty damn well. It's just by the time they were starting to get their big chunk of China, Chiang Kai-shek was unwilling to negotiate. So I would say it's more like China forces Japan into the war with the U.S. And I will contend until my dying day that no nation has any responsibility to trade with another nation. For whatever reason, whether it's internal behaviors or external behaviors of that nation, or just, hey, we don't want our semiconductors going to some other nation. Well, we had to attack you because you wouldn't give us semiconductors to computerize our nation. No. You don't have to trade with anybody. And yes, if you have friends or dependents or whatever you want to call modern day Taiwan, you can, for continuing to be good friends and or dependents that continue to get your weapons, you can make requirements of them, like don't give, sell, whatever. Try to stop as much as possible. Obviously, there's can still smuggle something, but try to stop sending certain technologies to some other country. That's because that is a friendly relationship there, and that if this country wants to say "F you," we're going to do our own thing. You go, well, okay, well, we're not going to sell you any arms. Again, we don't have to sell anybody's arms. No one, in my understanding, is saying that, well, we're going to put ships off of Taiwan to keep them from exporting whatever to whoever. No, it's just you want to continue good friendship. Don't, your tech companies don't increase your tech investment or, in mainland China, and don't send more finished products over to mainland China. And if you say that, well, that forces China into a war, so otherwise it couldn't keep up with the modernization of China, which is sort of what Ragar might say, that U.S. forces China to invade Taiwan to get semiconductors because the U.S. forced Taiwan to stop selling at least high-end semiconductors to China. And that forces China to do something. Well, I'm going to say bullshit on that. That's my opinion. You do not have to do that. Not even talking, but respecting treaties that both agreed upon. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Taiwanese government wants to do, but I am sure that there are businesses in Taiwan that would like to keep selling high-end tech stuff to China. And I'm sure that there are businesses in the Netherlands that would like to sell high-end chip manufacturing stuff to China because money is what they're there for. Maybe some of the people that own those companies that I just referred to might not like communism or might not like the current Chinese government to just decide not to sell to China, but on their own. But it's more of been a government requirement not to. And the U.S. government has told them not to, and there was at first a little bit of pushback, and then I think the U.S. government had a quiet word with them as to what might happen if they don't, and they stopped. For my understanding, basically stopped. And so, yes, it is U.S. pressure, but either in the Dutch case or in the Taiwanese case, I don't think it's. I mean, maybe it's like, hey, well, we'll stop trading with you, or we'll stop giving you arms, or there may be some other consequences. But again, it's not, if the U.S. is giving foreign aid to a country and the U.S. wants to stop it, well, fine. The U.S. is not required, or any nation is not required to give foreign aid or to trade with anybody else. And if then you get attacked because you and your friends stop trading with somebody, you're not forcing them into attacking because, unless Ragar, you really seriously want to propose that Japan, the leaders sat around and go, guys, we're really fucked. Yeah, we're fucked. Yeah, we're so effing fucked. What do we do? Okay, guys, you know what we do? We attack the United States. We got to make it look good. We got to make sure our people, think we actually try to fight. So we're going to have some casualties. But ultimately, what we want to do is lose the war. So once we lose the war, America will take us over and unfuck us. Yeah. Okay, yes. Hitler just started World War II because he was hoping the U.S. would take over Germany and unfuck Germany. That, that's how I, forcing, I'm not buying, not agreeing to it. Now, yes, from the Japanese perspective, that the U.S. and Britain were unhappy with Japanese behavior in China, so that both nations, particularly, stopped trading with Japan and gave aid and comfort to their enemy, China. Supplies through, Indochina until they take over Indochina. The Burma Road is opened up before Japan and the U.S. are at war, or Japan and Britain are at war. So they're sending supplies through there. America, sends aircraft and volunteers to fly fighters. Yeah. But and you go, oh, there's an American pilot, an American-made aircraft flying out of somewhere in China. Well, we're at war with you. Well, okay, but and you could have that response. But that's not what got them to fight in the war. Let me read. Initially, government made an agreement that stopped the war in the beginning. China scolded Chinese officers for defending themselves. Japanese accepted the apology. Then Central Chinese government blocked the agreement. Yes. Yeah, Chiang Kai-shek describes the war with Japan as a disease of the skin, and the war with the communists as like a disease of the internal body or whatever. And he thought that no matter what, China was going to survive this war. So if he just didn't say, uncle and tap, peace out kind of thing, Japan would collapse. Sort of like what we're seeing in Ukraine today by the West. They think they can bleed Russia dry. And then, U.S. want Taiwan to stop producing chips and blow up their factories themselves, transfer industry to the U.S. U.S. would love to get Taiwanese market share. Well, no one in the U.S. government thinks that is going... No, they don't think that way, Ragar. No one thinks they're going to blow up or dismantle Taiwan's chip manufacturing and bring it to the United States. What they might do is if China invades Taiwan, those factories may blow up. Yes. If there's an invasion. The U.S., nobody in the U.S. government, I'm not saying there isn't some analyst squirreled away in some basement planning things out, but no policymaker in the U.S. thinks they're going to tear down any of the Taiwanese manufacturing plants and bring them to the U.S. Yes, they definitely want, and TSMC is building factories in the U.S. to produce chips in the U.S. Definitely. But that is not, the U.S. just does not think in those terms. I'm sorry if you think the U.S. thinks so. Now, like I say, I do think that there is a very high likelihood that if there is a serious invasion, and it's not going so well for the Taiwanese, I do think those factories would blow up. I don't necessarily think the Taiwanese would blow them up. I just think they would mysteriously blow up because some bombs just happen to fall on them. I do think the U.S. would do a targeted scorched earth on those. Chinese would make their own low microchip production line sooner, but patent laws force China to spend time to... No, China doesn't care about patent laws. No, I totally disagree with that. There's a really good a Chinese American who is based out of Taiwan, who, what is it, Asianometry or whatever, he's been looking at that. No, it's let's make a save here because we are coming to the end of... I overextended this episode already, but I'm going to make another save. To make the highest end chips on the planet, currently in manufacture, that I know of at least, there's only one company on the planet that makes mirrors, because you don't actually use lenses to focus it because it's so small, it's beyond lenses. There's only and it's, what is it, Siemens or Zeiss or somebody in Germany, I forget who. There's the only company on the planet that makes lenses that are good enough. Only one company, and it's in Germany. And then there's only one company to make the highest end. Because again, we have chips in our credit cards, we have chips in our microwave. Those are low end chips, the highest end chips, and that's what we're talking about now. Russia makes low grade chips, things like that. But the highest end, there's only one factory in the world that I know of, and it's in the Netherlands, that takes these lenses and builds the machines that makes the highest end chips. Okay, so and that's in the Netherlands, a Dutch company, and that's it. China, to my knowledge, and they're probably working as hard as they can. It's not about patents. They're probably working as hard as they can to build a company that can build the mirrors to make the high-end chips. And they're probably also working on, to try to build the machines that can build the highest-end chips. But when TSMC wants to build their highest-end chips, they buy these Dutch machines, because that's the only place in the world to get them. So it is not patents. China doesn't care about patents. China doesn't care that much about exports, even if you, because they stopped that. So, yes, ASML. Thank you, Arno. I don't keep all these names in my head of all the companies. So, yes, that is the bottleneck for chips. I still think the highest end TSMC chips are only made in Taiwan, and they make the highest end in the world. Now, IBM and Samsung and some other, Japanese, Korean and Japanese companies also build chips that are 1 or 2 steps behind the highest end of TSMC, but they're working to catch up. One company, what is it, IBM or Intel or whatever, has a major manufacturing in Israel. They have some in the U.S. TSMC is building, I think, 2 plants in the U.S. right next to each other. The first one was like grade 4, I think they're doing another one next to it. They're going to be grade 5, the highest end, here, I think, in Arizona. So they're moving out. Partially, I think, they realize they need to. The market for them is continuing to expand. So it isn't like, it's not, they can't produce enough chips as it is. They need more. Yeah, I agree with Gamer. ZZ says the U.S. has purchased from TSMC for decades and has no interest in entering. No, we are building the factories here. TSMC is building factories here in Arizona, but we are not shutting down or trying to shut down. China had trade relations with, Trump started the blockade, yes. Forced another, yes, absolutely. China would very much want to resume, yes. Nowadays, they are unable to manufacture, yes, absolutely. And that's enough for PC and military chips. Only cell phones would suffer. Yeah, well, yeah, so, hey, Crispin. How you doing? Had, not has. Yeah, not exactly sure where. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, the U.S. Yeah, I think for strategic reasons the factories would blow up if there's a Chinese invasion. There probably would be phone calls to the factories, meaning every little cell phone in that factory, because the U.S. can do this. The U.S. can make phone calls wherever it wants to, so long as the physical infrastructure is there. We know this because they did so in places like Iraq. They just make phone calls and say, evacuate the factory now, presumably in Chinese, and everybody in the factory would know to get out of the factory, that very shortly it ain't going to be there anymore. Had no interest in predict days. But yeah, yes, we do. Yes. And it's in the last, 5 years, serious interest has come in. And yes, Trump is, I know why the world hates Trump, because Trump wants to make America great again. And the world doesn't want it. America great again. Well, guys, I think we will end this episode here. I know it's gone on too long. Hopefully it was interesting. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.